Hey guys, this is Jan from Online-Tabletop, and today I will be showing you how to make chainmail in Photoshop. This can be useful when you are making concept art or when you are trying to draw your Dungeons and Dragons character. I've seen quite some chainmail in my life. I've been working in a historic theme park and I've been to a lot of reenactment events, and I actually made a chain shirt myself. It was like 10 years ago, and today I went digging through my storage and I actually found it. And I thought it would be fun to show you. Let me grab it. Here it is. Rings are falling off. It's dirty, it's heavy, and it's rusty. If you want to draw chainmail, it's useful to know a little bit about how it's made or what different types there are. So let's take a look at that right now. So chainmail can be made in different weaving patterns. The most popular weave is the 4-in-1 weave, which means that each ring is connected to 4 other rings. As you can see here, one ring is connected to 4 other rings. This ring is connected to 4 other rings. As you can also see, the rings lie in different tilted rows. So one row is tilted one way and the other row is tilted another way. This is useful to keep in mind when we're trying to draw chainmail. This is the open-ended type of chainmail, which means that each ring is bent together at the ends to form the circle. But a much more stronger type of chainmail is the one called riveted chainmail. This means that each ring has a flattened end, hammered flat, with a pin through it. This makes the chainmail so much stronger, but it's a lot of work to make. One thing to note is that in a lot of fantasy scenes you see people wearing chainmail right on the skin or on top of a thin shirt. This doesn't work. For chainmail to work properly, you need some kind of padding underneath, like thick wool, padded leather, gambeson of sorts. Let's imagine we would take an axe and we would smack this guy right in the torso. He wouldn't get any big cuts, but all of his bones would be broken. Here we see some good examples on how chainmail should be used. You see this guy is wearing padding underneath. He's got some really cool chain gloves. Also, you see this guy is wearing some padding underneath, some leather. And this piece of art over here really displays chainmail in a beautiful way. You can see that there's some sort of padding underneath his shirt. The lighting is beautiful as well. Alright, let's get started in Photoshop. We will make a new canvas, 500 by 500 pixels, 72 dpi. And we will start by making some circles. Elliptical marquee tool, new layer. First circle will be black. Let's transform the selection to make a ring. Hold Alt to scale proportionally. This is our first ring. We will lock the transparent pixels so we can draw on top. Then we will take a soft brush, white, put it on like 10, 20 opacity and start drawing in some shape. It's like this. This will be the reflection. And there will also be a small reflection at the bottom of this ring. Now we will give it some 3D depth by drawing in some black. And yeah, giving it some depth this way. A little bit more of a highlight to make it look a little bit more metally. So this is our first ring, yeah? We will copy this ring and flip it vertically, like this. Then we will make our weave. So this ring will go underneath. Underneath this ring as such, and is locked together. Now there will be a row underneath, something like this. We can even transform the ring a little bit. To make it look a little bit more tilted like this. Let's fix this little edge over here. All right. Then we take this ring over here and we copy it. And we want to make it seem like this ring is going underneath. Oops. This one. That's it. So these four are connected. I actually don't like the way this one is positioned at this moment. I want to have it a little bit further down. Oh. A little bit more like this. I'm having issues with myself. So I want this ring, yeah? Goes like this underneath. So we've got a little bit of feeling of 3D going on, yeah? We're almost ready to make our brush, but now comes a little bit complex part because we want to make sure it seems like it is seamless. So if we go like this, it looks good, but it's not seamless because these three rings are not connected to anything. So to make it look seamless, we want to make it look like this ring is going through here. And this ring is going through this one. This ring is going through this one. And we want to make sure it looks like this one is going through here as such. Almost good. And now we want to make our brush. So let's see. We'll make a ruler. This will be the start of our brush, and this will be the end of our brush, like so. And now if we would, let's just remove this over here. If you would copy this, it would look pretty seamless, yeah? That's what we're going for. Now, to make this brush, you will select this stuff, but we will also invert it, because when you brush, you paint the black parts and the white parts are transparent, and we want it the other way around. So we go adjustment, invert, edit, define brush preset. Now I will turn off this layer, create the background layer, make the background layer black. And I will show you how this brush looks when we paint with white. Yeah? So that's pretty cool. But not yet the effect we had intended. For the next part, we will go to the brush preset options and we will space it out. So it actually spaced out to look like it is connected in this way. This should be it. Sort of good, eh? Let's try once more. Plop, 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 plop. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to shape dynamics, and angle jitter we will put to direction, the direction we're painting. So now if we make it like this, it looks pretty good. Yeah, looks like proper chainmail, no? So that's our chainmail brush so far. So now that we have our chainmail brush, I want to apply it to this image that I've made here before. First thing that we need to do is we need to mask out the area, in this case the shirt, where I want the chainmail to be applied to. So through the magic of internet, I will just quickly select this shirt area. So I've made my selection. Let's just give it a name so we can remember. Let's name this chainmail mask backup, because we're not actually gonna use this red layer. We're just gonna hide it for now, but we're gonna use the selection later. Next we'll grab our brush and we'll create some chainmail with a white brush, and we just want to make a whole sheet, a seamless pattern of chainmail like this. Copy paste it. I'm using Shift Alt drag to create quick copies of this layer. Merge it down, and I'll keep doing it until I've got the area of my shirt filled like such. And I'm using Ctrl E to merge it back down the layer. So I press Alt and drag to copy a layer, and I'm using Shift to make sure that I only drag in the same direction, the locked angle. I can only drag it left or right, not diagonally. And I'm using Ctrl E to merge back down these layers. So that's done. So now we've got a sheet of chainmail, and next up we want to fit it on top of the shirt a little bit better. So we will go to Filter, Liquify. As a backdrop, we want to use only the background layer, else it will also show a copy of the chainmail layer and it will become a bit more difficult to see what we're doing. Here we are. And we would just want to form it around the body a little bit. So let's say we just want to push it in here a little bit and change up the direction a little, because the chainmail isn't just lying on a flat surface, it is going around the shape of this guy, yeah? And if we messed up a little bit, we can always go to the reconstruct tool and it will try to fix that and shape that out a little bit. But I'm not gonna do that because I'm quite happy with it. I'm just gonna do it with a little bit of pressure to get a little bit of the weird shape out of this area. So you can spend a lot of time just moving it and forming it around the body like this. But for the sake of this tutorial, I won't do it too perfectly. I will just keep it like this. Next, I will Control press the chainmail mask backup layer, so it will create a selection out of the contents of that layer. And I will press create layer mask. And now we have our chainmail pattern on top of our shirt, which is cool. Next up, we want to do something else. We want to, again, Control select the chainmail mask backup layer and create a hue and saturation layer just to turn down the brightness of the layer underneath. The chainmail will pop more and work better if the layer underneath the chainmail is quite dark. So there we go. So we've got our chainmail here, our shirt underneath. Next up, we will lock the transparent pixels of the chainmail layer, and I want to grab a big soft brush. I want to make sure pen pressure is on, like this. And then we will start to add some black and shade our chainmail layer. Let's go to an opacity of 20 or something like that. Quick and easy. Make the brush a little bit bigger to draw some larger shadow areas and soften the shadow out a little bit. That looks okay. I just want to make sure that it isn't completely black, so I'll just lighten it up a tiny bit like this with hue and saturation adjustment. Next up, I will create some more highlights on the area that is catching the most light, like this, and I'll add some shadows at the edge of these clothes underneath the armpits, underneath the belts and such. To give it some depth. This looks quite okay already, but as a finishing touch, I will use, I want to add a little bit of randomness, yeah? So I will grab my chainmail brush that we've made. Make sure we set it to black and white. And I'm gonna draw on top of it, but I'm gonna add a little bit of randomness because I'm not necessarily interested in the chainmail shape. I'm more interested in just some random shapes and forms. So I'll put some size jitter on, some angle jitter on, pen pressure on, some transfer jitter, opacity jitter on like 40%. And what our brush would look like now, I will show it on a new layer. It will just be like this, which is kind of cool by itself, but I want to use it to add some randomness to the chainmail, so the chainmail isn't just that perfect, as smooth. The light isn't as smooth as it shows it now. So I will go to opacity 40%, and I will just draw on top of like this. Can even make the brush bigger. Maybe increase the opacity to 80% for a few strokes, just to create this illusion of not every ring being perfectly similar. Some might be dented, some might have dented, bent, things like this. And I will also do the same with highlights. Put the opacity on 40 and add some highlights here and there. And I think this looks quite okay for the sake of this tutorial. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial about drawing chainmail in Photoshop. If you did, please press the like button and subscribe. And if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos, you can press the bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will give you notifications when a new video of mine comes up. Thank you very much. You can leave a comment if you have an interesting idea for another topic for a video. It can be about drawing or about tabletop role-playing games in general. And yeah, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to get to you. Alright, thank you very much and bye bye.